So I believe that also applies to the contracts such as laying of pipelines. Because I believe when pipes are submerged, they're pretty much safe there, except there's deliberate sabotage or destruction, right? So if you're already budgeting, if NNPC is budgeting $26 million apart from your own, then where does your warranty come into play? It's actually worrisome to know that NNPC will commit over $1 billion to a project and there is no guarantee of service. You are already anticipating damage for 2 years, damage that will require spare parts worth $26 million. Ordinarily, so please can you turn off your microphone? Ordinarily, when you
distinguished, we have NNPC retains a 5% from our value EPC contract for 12 months. So it's called retention, 5%. If anything, when we finish and there is a problem, it's from that 5% they will call us to come and fix it. So there's a warranty of, on quote, 12 months. Now, on the spare parts, yes, it's assumed, like the distinguished senator said, when we complete, like now we're about completing, we're sending out letters to them and say, okay, we're finishing on X, Y, Z, God willing. What about the SCADA? What about the spare parts? Are you taking on us on that? And we also have a performance bond on this project, which is 10% of the value of the project that we have placed on it. So I believe the warranties are almost guaranteed. The bank has that, and it's clear terms, and they have also a 5% of the value of the contract. Every invoice that is paid is deducted straight away. Thank you.
Well, that's your own prerogative. It's your own ethical obligation and ethical decision, which we respect. But we are interested in you proving to us that so far, in as much as you have received $639 million, you have invested 1% of that, which is $6.39 million in human capacity development. Do you please have a proof of that? Mind you, remember we talked about the 40-60, which means 60% of it will go into institutional strengthening. So also mention the names of the schools that benefited from the HCD and the Nigerians that were trained with 40% of the funds. We just want your proof, please. If you don't have that, like you were not present the last time, but we interfaced with your team. And after all deliberations, it was very clear to us that you are yet to embark upon that, which was an okay position for us. Because considering the fact that you were still to be paid another 600. Okay. Considering the fact that you are still to be paid another 600, then we could work out the modalities of the HCD from your yet to be paid funds. Just let us know, have you carried out your human capacity development project to the amount of $6.3 million for Nigeria, which would include institutional strengthening and the trainings? Have you, yes or no?
Thank you, Chair. We have not done anything at all in that direction. But this conversation bringing us to some area of concern. In the process of tendering, we made an offer of what we believe we should do, and it wouldn't have gone into the contract if Nigerian content did not consider and approve, if the owner, which is NNPC, had not accepted. So the basis of having 3.7 million is what we proposed we will do, and that is what the approving authorities approved, and accordingly it reflected in the contract for that price. Now, we had been engaging the owner since the beginning of this conversation. We are not quarreling with changing the number to 11, to 12, or to any other number. But the number that was proposed and captured as an exhibit in the contract is 3.7. And we have not spent
3.7 what?
million dollars, $7.7 million.
7.7
Sorry?
or 3.7?
3.7
For what?
for HCD. That is what the three arms connected to making position on that agree. That is the owner, the Nigerian content, and the contractor.
Well, we have interfaced with a number of them. NCDMB.
What does the law says, or what was originally agreed to? So that, let's see, was there anywhere you signed off? Did NNPC sign off? Did you people agree on the tree from 6 point?
No, the total was even, it's supposed to be 16 million, actually it's supposed to be $16 million.
Yes.
But we now decide to calculate it based on what they have been paid so far. So $16 million worth of human capacity development project. But they say they've been paid 639 million. So we're still calculating 1%. But they are now saying that for the total value of their project, they want to commit only $3.7 million. So NCDMB rejected that and said, no, that is too low. It falls too low below the threshold. Yeah. And that they told them to review it and get back to them, and they were yet to do so. Is that not
correct?
Thank you.
Working in joint venture with, say, NNPC and spending government money, will come back with a claim that indeed maybe they spend 20% on HCD or 30%. We say no, the absolute maximum you spend on HCD should be this number to guide them. And so when we have cases where for the economics of the project, we've had a discussion, and on the basis of that discussion, we see the need to reduce the expenditure to help that project meet the economic considerations and requirements. Yes, we discussed that. And when we discuss that and agree, we convey that clearly in the HCD approval letter to say the value of HCD for this project shall be this number. In this case, we've not reached that point and we've not conveyed that to Pretex.
Empowers you to unilaterally reduce the amount of HCD that companies should provide. That's one. And two, you say that you provide the companies with a maximum. Surely if a company wants to provide more than the law requires, they should be allowed to. But for you to say they cannot go more, I put it to you, sir, that your job is to encourage local content, not to limit it. So by telling them there's a maximum of 1 million, where from the documents it should be maybe 3 million, you are depriving Nigerians of possible training and empowerment through your office. No, sir, please stick to the point. Does the law allow you to unilaterally vary the amount of HCD? That is the question.
The guideline, in the guideline for HCD, we stated clearly that that number we suggested would be the maximum. And we discussed with the companies the way we have, it's a guideline we have given to them. Yeah, we discussed with the companies and we transparently manage the agreement, because you have some projects that the economics is so tight and you cannot do HCD. And the companies come in and government say, okay, you have to give consideration for this project. Yeah, like the presidential directive now on Nigerian content is such that they're even thinking that we should waive things like HCD completely to make projects fly in the industry. So we get those directives from the topmost times to say, okay, for this one, because of the criticality of the economics of this project, you need to look at how you can make the project viable economically.
Are you saying that deploys this variation in taxes? Or, because at the point of putting together the value of a project, the taxes have been included. So I believe so also, the 1% Human Capacity Development Fund should be included. Bottom point, we don't think it is in your own purview to bargain low because of your own consideration of hardship in the economy. If a project is worth 1.6 billion, $16 million for training Nigerians and strengthening our schools should not be too much. But that's on our side. Please, may I have, is there someone from CPP here? Gentlemen, is it you? Our reports, China defaulted in bringing the fund. So the AKK project in its entirety till today has been solely funded by NNPC. Yet, you are benefiting. China is benefiting or has benefited greatly from the AKK project.
Sorry, madam.
Respond, please.
Sorry, I don't know.
What don't you understand?
Can somebody explain?
Can someone explain to him, please, in Chinese? Or Mandarin, please?
Can I speak on his behalf?
No, please. He has to speak in the language because part of the expatriate quota is that every foreigner brought into Nigeria must be able to communicate in our language clearly,
No, he can
which is
speak,
English.
He can speak English.
So, okay, should I speak more slowly for you to understand? Okay. At the point of engaging in the phase 2 of the Ajakuta Kaduna Kano project, the same project that you are seated here for, the reason why CPP partnered with Brentex is because China, your country, agreed to fund the Ajakuta Kaduna Kano pipeline project. Now, the substantial part of the delay was because the funds were not forthcoming from China. So NNPC proceeded to single-handedly fund the project and has done so till date. My question now is, why did you not pull out of your partnership with Brentex? Why did you continue engaging as a partner and benefiting from this project?
Madam, sorry, I don't know. I don't understand why you ask me this question. Auto or companies control. This is the government's between the place of the governments. It's not our company's policy. We are trying our best to do the work. CPP have done the best work in Nigeria.
In partnership with any foreign company in the execution of your project?
No, we are not.
So
No,
it's
we are
100%
not. Nigerian owned, yes.
100% Nigerian.
Nigerian owned, yes.
Thank you. Brentex, you could have gone 100% Nigerian as well. But again, you partnered with China because China was to bring the money, yes or no?
That is not correct.
Thank you.
Yes.
But then China dragged until they defaulted. They did not bring kobo to support the AKK project. And
The chair, my answer.
if I take, hold on please. If I take you back a little, the reason why the partnership was signed with CPP is because the Chinese government insisted for their own local content. They said they would not invest money in Nigeria if they were not going to be carried along in the employment or the repatriation of funds somehow. So that was why the Chinese government insisted that CPP should partner with Brentex.
Is that correct?
That is not correct also.
Thank you.
It's not correct
Now,
also.
hold on. It's not correct or it's correct?
It's not correct also.
Okay, what's the correct?
That means, MD, somebody here must have been lying, and maybe the documents we have. And mind you, we have already interfaced with NNPC and other partners. And we are speaking from an informed point of view. That Chinese government insisted on their own local content, and that was why CPP came in, because they were supposed to bring the funds for this project.
That is not correct.
So was CPP at any point engaged to bring in the funds for this project?
Not at all.
Who was supposed to fund this project first before NNPC took charge?
From the beginning, NNPC was in charge. And
No.
they were prospecting.
The question is very simple. Was China at any point to fund the AKK project?
NNPC went to China to ask for loan. Like in the manner they went several other places.
The NNPC went to China to ask for loan. Then?
When NNPC went to China, the consortium between Brentex and CPP was already in place. In fact, we had a contract. CPP came to Nigeria just as my technical partner, as Brentex technical partner. They don't fund projects anywhere on planet Earth. And they do projects all over Africa. We never told NNPC that we can bring money. That is the truth. Brentex, as a Nigerian company, lacked the technical capacity to prosecute projects of that size. The first company we brought was Petrojet in Egypt. Egyptians don't fund any project, but they appeared so corny. At some stage, they exited. Then we invited CPP. On technical ground, in my relationship, that is Brentex and CPP, consortium agreement, there is no element of funding from CPP.
Clerk, you do have minutes of our previous meetings, which we can refer to. Please, can you guide us? Who actually mentioned it? Someone
In
from
fact,
the
if I
Brentex
add more,
team.
it
No,
will
hold
bring
on.
more light.
Someone from Brentex actually.
In all our agreement, what we lacked is their size and capacity. No less, no more. If you check, there is nowhere NNPC did not go on planet Earth to discuss loan. It didn't work. So they went the same way Railway and Transport Ministry were doing. If you check all the projects in the Ministry of Transport, which is run by Chinese, which is different conversation. In fact, NNPC went for what you call quasi-commercial loan. And the Chinese authorities welcomed it, because that was the first time Nigeria went to China to discuss commercial loan. The rest are all concessionary conversations. But we couldn't meet the condition. That is the truth. And the documents are there in the finance department of NNPC. There is no issue of default. It's whether the condition was met or not. A lender, borrower must meet the requirement of the lender. That is the minimum requirement in any banking arrangement. Thank you.
Met the requirements or not, the point is that the funds for the AKK project was to come from China. And to the very best of our understanding, that is where the CPP partnership came in. We would have to visit NNPC back again to clarify, because that was exactly NNPC's position, that they waited for the loan from NNPC and from China, and China defaulted. But at that point, you had already partnered with them because China insisted on their own company benefiting from the local content. But for you to say you had no capacity, here is OilServe. I think very soon we'll round up and give the floor to OilServe, a wholly Nigerian company who run the first phase of the project from Ajakuta to part of Niger. without any partnership with a Chinese or any proficiency of English. Because if he's training people, which is the larger picture of why he's here, is to, transfer technology, build capacity and skill. So I really worry how he has been able to do that over the years while he's here. I barely understood him. I don't know if anyone understood him when he was speaking. And apart from, I could see that he was easily angered or irritated, and that's pretty much because he was struggling to speak. So I can't understand if he's trying to tell a Nigerian engineer or welder on how to hold a particular tool, and that person does not understand. So I'm trying to understand how he will flare up. But what we just saw right now, he can't be a trainer. He can't teach people. He's very rude, he's easily angered, and his mannerism, his approach is offensive.
Obviously,
so I'm understanding how such a
apologize.
person would have trained Nigerians.
I
There's no need to apologize, but actually, please, Brentex would like you to submit a copy of his expatriate quota, his permit, please. We'd like to have that. Thank you. Your project status, finally, completion rate. Before we completion date, we are aware that NNPC has written to you extending your completion date, right, with certain milestones and penalties for failing to meet that new date, which is first quarter next year. Can you please commit to us now? Do you think you'll be able to complete your part of the project by the first quarter next year? And there's misrepresentation of deadlines. Have you communicated this to NNPC?
They are fully
yes. Kindly forward to us your letters.
They are fully aware, yes.
Forward to us your correspondence with NNPC on the completion deadline. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Please, Brent, oil sir.
Thank you, distinguished. There is a complication in this conversation that this committee will require to understand. When we say completion of the project first quarter of next year, as far as BCL is concerned, we are still asking NNPC which project. Is it the line pipe construction, which minus the crisis around Circum Power, 815 kilometers there in Niger State, security issue? BCL could proudly say we finished the line pipe construction work, 320 kilometers. The stations know, because the critical station had been stopped by owner, that is NNPC, more than 18 months ago. So if we sit here as BCL to promise we can deliver the whole project, while part of it had been stopped 18 months ago, we shall be lying.
But your representative that attended our meeting last time, told us specifically that you are going to hand over a completed project.
He must be talking of the line pipe line.
Okay, so, and you were saying that
on the line pipe construction, we are as good as finished. We will definitely deliver it before the end of this year. The line pipe construction, 320 kilometers. The stations know, because the station is either in our hand or not in our hand. We don't know why it is. Thank you very much.
Just to tell you, NNPC said the station is in your hands. Is that not what NNPC said? The whole stations? And that's part of the reason why NNPC is considering descoping that is because they are not satisfied with the pace of work. Let's be very honest.
Okay.
They said the project was supposed to be completed in 2022. It wasn't completed. And then they gave you first extension to 2023, and they have recently extended again that you should complete everything until next year, May next year. So to the very best of every stakeholder's knowledge, the stations are in your control because it still makes part of the funds, which is 1.27, as you say it is, and the only person delaying is you. Anyway, to sum it up, because we need to really move on and close, just submit every correspondence. If they have written to you to descope, let us see that letter, because I'm very sure they would have said, you know what, if you do not complete by so, we will take away this. That is why they won't just say we're descoping. So let us see the letters, the exchange of communication between both of you. Thank you. Please, Oilserve, next.
The MD of Allserve. In terms of our performance on the project, Allserve is wholly Nigerian. We're about 1,030 Nigerians employed on this project. 300 of them are from local communities around the AKK. In terms of where we are on the value of the contract is about 1.081 billion. 1.081 billion. It traverses 303 kilometers. It includes 12 BVS stations, it includes 1 IPS station, it includes 10 road crossings, 6 river crossings including the River Niger, 3 special construction zones that requires us to level mountains and then raise valleys, and goes through a very, very rocky terrain of within the Ajukoto spread. In terms of where we are, procurement-wise, we are about 80% on procurement of the critical.
How many percent?
80%, close to 80%.
80?
Yes, on the procurement, roughly around 80-something% on the engineering and construction. Total completion on the project is around 60% at the moment. 60% of work has been done. In terms of what we have received from NNPC at the moment, out of the value of the contract, we have received about 600 and something million dollars. 600 and something, about 600 and something plus. We still have an outstanding payment, milestone payments of about 300 and something to complete. In terms of specific details around NC, just let me consult. So when we look at total NC spend on the project at the moment, NC spend is about $289 million. NC value is about $700 and something million for the AKK. I'll maybe stop here and see the specific areas you want me to deepen.
Yes,
and I would.
Very
Okay, so on the AKK, sadly so, when this contract was issued to Allserve, NNPC did not include a HCD element on this contract. Similarly, because the NGICs classified this project as a midstream project, the 1% NCF also did not apply. So the 1% NCF does not apply because it's midstream. Then for the 1% HCD, that was not also applicable because that has to be factored into the contract and negotiated with NCDMB. However, what Allserve has done is that in the process, we have on our own spent about $2.2 billion on local trainings, and we've trained about 300 and something people.
Hold on, please, Oilserve. Yes. We don't expect NCDF funding, so that's not your expectations, but you must. You must. You must. It's not good. It might not be specifically captured, but you should have known that if you had interfaced with NCDMB. And the NNPC said you are responsible for that.
For NCF?
NCDF for HCD.
So
NNPC did mention that. As a matter of fact, we should have brought them in today.
Yes. So
but you are responsible for that.
Yes. Okay. So the structure of the contract is such that the HC value has to be. So if I look at my examples from working with Shell and delivering projects, the HC element of the contract is specified within the contract. However, what we have done is that there is an ongoing engagement between NCDMB and NNPC to resolve that. On our part, we've also engaged with NCDMB to ensure that whatever additional spend is required around HCD is also resolved. So on our part,
please hurry up and resolve that with NCDMB and NNPC, because you are owing Nigerians $10 million worth of human capacity development projects.
So that
however, you said they're owing you $300 million, right? You are being owed about $300 million worth of project, right? So I don't think.
The structure is that for the HCD,
sums about 1.08 billion. You have been paid 600 plus million, right?
Yes, sir.
The percentage of work done is 60%.
Yes, sir.
And he said there are certain components of that, whatever job that was set, whatever, but the actual average work done right now is 60%.
Yes, sir.
Then you now added that you still have unpaid claims of 300 plus. Is that
So
right?
that's milestones to the end of the project. So the balance of payment to deliver the project.
No, that is, I just want to be sure. Because said we have 300. I just want to be sure that my eye is not deceiving me. Because ideally, if you have done 60% of work and then you've gotten 600 whatever million, that is actually 60%. Is it not? Yes. Because that is why I'm a bit confused. And I say,
and he has done another 300.
Another 300. That means that you are on 90%.
No.
Or they pay you before you get to those milestones.
So the structure of
payment
agreement. The structure of our payment is such that we achieve specific milestones, and then NNPC will only pay us 45 days after the milestones are achieved. So when we look at the balance of 300 plus that we're supposed to be paid, that is tied to very, very specific milestones. So for exactly, so yes, that covers the additional.
So you've not got into those milestones.
We have not. That's why we have not.
So let us
explicit now.
Yes.
So OXF, please turn off your mic.
With the structures that we have on ground and with the plans that we're currently executing, that we should be able to
I
achieve
like how
that.
positive you are.
Yes, ma'am.
But what I don't like is the fact that your pipes are still laying on top of the surface. When you are driving around from here to Ajakuta, you just see the pipe. So I hope you're not just speaking nice English in your calm tone. I know that's not part of your strategy.
No, it completed the annual NNPC project. So we just recently completed the annual NNPC project. One of the things that we have repositioned ourselves as a business to do is to make sure the annual NNPC project, which was commissioned by the President on May 13th. Now, we had 4 years of issues on the project, but we completed it in 6 months. The point for us is that with the right levels of support and with what we have restructured, with the way we have restructured our company, we are fairly confident that these things will help us to deliver projects on time, right quality, and the right cost for the country.
Apply patriotism on the fore of every decision we make. Let me see what we have on the agenda. So in the absence of any further comment, observation, or contribution,